welcome to the show. I'm Blake, founder of Team Pickleball. We have Natalie Blue here today, which we're super excited to chat with her about. She's a therapist and a pickleballer out of San Diego. San Diego? Yes.
Yep.
Got
Yeah.
that right. So we can chat further, but welcome to the show. Super happy to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so maybe we can just start with like your background, how you got into pickleball, kind of how you got into therapy. What route how did that happen?
Absolutely. So I started during the pandemic, like most people who just recently started playing pickleball. It was just something to do outside and stay active. It started just like really social friends, like Friday night, we would like bring pizza to the court. And then I started like really getting into it and it became more and more of like an addiction. I absolutely loved the ability to do something after work when it was dark that still felt like active and social. So that's how I got into pickleball. And then I've just been playing ever since and trying to like get better and better and play more tournaments. So yeah, now it's more of like a competitive thing for me, which it kind of evolved into, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah, so like what level, what does that mean, I guess, for people that are more amateur level?
Oh yeah. So you start off as pretty much like I guess the lowest is 2-0,
Sure.
and you just kind of like grow your skill level and get better and better at different skills in the game. And then you become a different level each time that you learn and master and start using that skill during a game. And so now you check my duper. I'm a
Yeah.
4.
There we go. Got to drop it in there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been
Great, cool. No, that's super cool. I think I think it's cool to hear people that have gotten really into it and gotten more competitive with it, because you go to drop and play at your local park, and it's casual, but it's cool to see that someone like, oh, you could actually do the same thing. You could actually get better and better and start going to competitions and stuff. So super cool. So yeah, tell us more about the therapy side of things too.
Oh, yeah. So I was always a business girl. I was a corporate event planner actually previously. So I had my business degree, was working in marketing, kind of social media, stuff like that. And it was actually my therapist who told me for 3 years that I needed to be a therapist. And
Really? Okay.
thank you so much. Like, absolutely not. I don't know why you keep telling me that. Like, kind of like drop it. But I'm really, really glad that I finally listened to her. It took me a while to understand what she saw in me and why she thought I would be good at being a therapist. So I'm forever grateful to her. She actually wrote my letters of recommendation, helped me get into my grad program, and I have absolutely been totally in love with being a therapist. I'm like, oh, this is absolutely my dream job. So I'm really
Right.
happy I listened.
That's cool. I mean, they recruited you from therapy, so I mean, that's obviously some high, some good person to actually tell you if you're good or not. But
Totally.
um,
Yeah.
super cool, super cool. So yeah, so I'm doing a little online googling of you, and you have this thing called Therapy is Cool Club. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. So when I started going to school and like practicing being a therapist, I was like, oh, I just felt like on fire for like all these different ideas. And one of the ideas that I came up with is I've always been really passionate about trying to destigmatize what it means to go to therapy. Like therapy has been so influential in my life. So I feel like I'm always talking about it. I'm like, oh, you should go to therapy or suggesting it. And so just like on a broader scale, trying to destigmatize therapy. So the idea kind of formed of Therapy is Cool Club, which is just a like small merchandise brand. It started off with hats. And while I was in grad school, I would like wear my hats. I worked at a coffee shop and
Nice.
just
Yeah.
it gets the conversation going.
Yeah.
I'll get some looks from maybe like old men that are a little like, no, but overall it's been like a really positive thing. I feel like everyone's like excited about being able to wear something to start the conversation. Especially like therapists too. Like someone will comment on my hat and I'll be like, yeah, I'm actually a therapist. And they're like, my friend's been looking for a therapist. And it's just like a great way to break the kind of
Right.
conversation. So yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's so cool the time we're in, just people more aware of just it's okay to have therapy. Like it's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Yeah.
But I get that where you're kind of still trying to break that down a little bit. But I mean, it's one thing to kind of understand that like therapy is cool for you and I'm okay with that, but it's still kind of a hard thing to then be like, it's actually I should go get therapy.
Mm.
So what are those benefits? What do you see like someone that like thinks is good for other people but maybe not for themselves? Like how would you kind of coax them into it?
I hear often like people that are hesitant to go to therapy, they're like, oh, well, nothing traumatic has ever happened to me. Or I don't struggle with addiction. I'm not going through a divorce or something like people have this idea that something big has to have happened for you to like benefit from going to therapy. And it's actually quite the opposite. I think like besides the obvious benefits of, just increasing your mental health and reducing anxiety or depression symptoms. Like we know those things about therapy, but I think what people don't often know is there's also these benefits of like really learning who you are and becoming a more genuine version of yourself in all settings of your life. So I kind of say this a lot with my clients, but like, okay, are we operating out of fear in that decision? Or is that coming from the most genuine version of ourselves? And I feel like therapy is really the only place that exists in the world where we can come and sit with someone who is not going to judge us, is not going to react to what we're telling them, and is just going to listen and hear. I feel like that doesn't happen anywhere else. So having this one sacred space to be able to explore those thoughts and ideas is it's really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I have done a little bit of job coaching. Or not job coaching, but just coaching in general
Yeah, yeah.
around more of the workplace. But it was a lot of therapy kind of mixed in, a lot of personal stuff, because obviously that affects our work as well.
Yep.
And I always thought of it as like it's like the best version of a friend if they were just like listening to you strategically. You know what I mean? Like your friends listen, but they're not really like they're gonna give you kind of their own gut reaction advice kind of on it versus someone that's actually listening and like thinking through like how can I help this person like kind of really open this up here. So
Definitely.
it's yeah, it's like a really good friend that is just there listening to you and like actually like intentionally thinking about how they can help you through work through these things. So
Yeah. I
um
couldn't describe it as like a mirror too. Like if you are talking with a friend, they're gonna have their own insights,
yes,
kind of their life experience to kind of like pull from.
right,
But in therapy, we really just kind of hold this mirror. Tell me more. Why do
right,
you feel like you act like that? What do you really want? So we help you kind of understand what it is that you actually really desire or think or feel.
right. And that's what you'd want a friend to do, right? But
Yeah.
you know, obviously they're clouded by their own stuff too. So
Yeah.
no, it's wonderful for the people that have done therapy. I think they would all agree it's really beneficial, but it's kind of that hurdle because if you've never experienced that, I think that's kind of a hard thing because you just think like, oh, I don't want someone just kind of like digging into my junk, you know?
They're
But
gonna
it's really
tell
you
you.
digging into your own junk. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So it's great. Cool. So uh I guess the encouragement there is just kind of to like I guess also I was thinking this too, like obviously extroverts kind of this might be easier to jump into. What would you say to kind of like an introverted, someone that doesn't want to, you know, is nervous around talking or
Yeah.
connecting with others? Yeah.
Hey. I always give this advice to anyone who's like maybe considering therapy. Ask your friends that go to therapy if they love their therapist.
Sure.
Ask your coworkers, your family. Don't just choose someone off of a list.
Right.
Find someone that the people around you love and they feel like benefit to them and go see that person. That will just first eliminate kind of that scary first interaction. Like, no, I already have this, like, someone has like said that this is a good therapist. So you feel more confident going in. And then for anyone who feels like maybe reluctant or scared, like, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? That is the therapist's job. Is they're going to
Yeah.
kind of like lead and keep the conversation going and ask you questions to maybe get you thinking in a different way. And so you don't have to prepare. You don't have to like feel like you have to have something huge going on. That's our job. That's what you're paying
Right.
us for. We will lead that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's definitely, it feels like you're going to have to go in and done a ton of work, which you are kind of doing a lot of work, but at the same time, it's more of just a back and forth kind of, you know, thinking through what's going on inside. And a lot of that is in silence, and a lot of it is talking. And
Mhm.
I think it's cool for how that plays out. Every session, I feel like it plays out different. So I
Yeah,
think that's really
it's
cool.
true.
So moving kind of back to the sport side of things,
Yeah.
w- is do you see any connection between, we got the mental health,
Mhm.
and then you got your physical health? Like, how have you seen those kind of combined specifically with pickleball, or just, for other people? Like, I know obviously it's one thing to focus on your mental health, but if the rest of your life kind of is, thrown away, then,
Yeah.
it's kind of a holistic view there. But
Absolutely. Yeah, we know the benefits of exercise. I feel like we hear that all the time. I think pickleball is unique to like mental health because it is so social. Parks are I feel like everyone in California complains about how busy the parks are.
yeah,
But I think it's something that's, like, actually really special about the sport is people of all ages and all backgrounds are coming to, like, play this one kind of really silly sport,
right.
and so you get to be surrounded by people who are totally different than you. So you have that social aspect. It almost challenges you as a person in that way, which I think is really special. And I think in terms of like the more competitive side, I played college volleyball, and so I'm familiar with like sports psychologists, and
Sure.
we had to always talk to someone every week before our big games and things like that. And so, like, therapy can absolutely increase your ability to be highly competitive and perform at a higher level in sports. I think that there's a lot of like emotional ties to playing a game and competing against someone, and kind of like where your mind goes during the game is really
Sure.
important. So, yeah, I just think it's like a really
Yeah.
unique sport in terms of
It,
mental.
it really is, because I think there's a lot of aspects at play, obviously, but you got just the straight physical, like you're running around and playing with other people.
Yeah.
But like, there's something about the sport that instinctively feels like it's like taking you back to like when you were a kid. Like you're playing again. You're like, this
Eating. Yeah.
is fun. It's just really fun versus like a sport where you got to actually weeks and weeks, you got to actually practice to even make
Yes.
it fun again. And like, you can't just jump in and play with someone random.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's that kind of element of, we like to talk about like the power of play, and just like how that just kind of like frees people, and like it makes you want to go back down. But then there's something about it that you can like yourself, like you get better and better, and it's harder and harder, and you can make it as hard as you want. But ultimately, yeah, that sense of play, that sense of movement, that sense of physical fitness, and then I think it exercises all those muscles that for a lot of people don't really have a chance to do. I think on a daily basis, because I think sports have kind of a unique way to do that with
Mhm.
the connection with other people versus just going to the gym and
Yep.
working some muscles out. So I think sport is the pickleball. I think it's very unique in that regard. So
Yeah.
um, I was thinking about this in the community aspect, and I think there's a thing called like blue zones, right, where people live
Yes.
like
Mhm.
exceptionally longer. And
Yep.
one of the things is community. And I was like, this is so cool, because you kind of have a built-in community that's I don't know about you, but you have your local court and you know everyone there and they're texting you and it's like,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I'm texting 7-year-olds, right? Like to go play pickleball. Like that's just so unique. And I just don't think there's anything quite like it. And it sounds funny, but you're like, this is like the best thing ever. If you've experienced it, you're like, this is great. I have all these contacts that are just pickleball on my phone,
Yeah.
you know?
That you
So,
would never really, like, have
no,
such, like, an intimate encounter with, where you, like,
right.
are in group messages and you're meeting up with them, and then you all go grab dinner after, and it's cool.
It's cool. It's super cool. Yeah. So, I mean, hinging on that, like, do you see? I mean, obviously, there's the physical thing with the community aspect, but do you think there's, mental health? Like, how does that play into having people like not siloing yourself off, kind of, to be
Mhm.
by yourself, but actually, I mean, showing up to even therapy is one thing, but just how does community play into that?
Yeah, I think it's helpful to be around a lot of different types of people in terms of your mental health because this word gets used a lot, so I always hesitate to use it, but to learn your own personal kind of like triggers, like, oh, someone who is like over the top competitive is actually really triggering for me. And
Mhm.
then what do I do with that feeling that comes up? Like, pickleball allows you to be around all these different types of people, maybe people that aren't competitive at all, and they're just swinging their racket around, and they're there for a
Yeah.
good time, or, the people that take it far too serious, and
Right.
that's okay too. But that allows you to kind of, like, learn more about yourself. Like, "Okay, why is that hard for me? Why is it hard for me?" And I always tell people to get curious whenever you have a strong emotion like that.
Sure.
Why is someone that's uber competitive, why does that, like, bother me? Why do I get mad or, like, hot when I'm around that person? Or why is it hard for me when this person isn't taking it as seriously as I am? You just kinda get curious with yourself, and you can learn more about yourself just by being around all these different types of people doing this silly thing while
Right.
you just kind of, like, playing and moving your body.
Yeah, I think I love that. Like just being curious about like the way we're feeling and how those emotions play out. And
Mhm.
I think like it's a good way to, I guess, once you have kind of that mindset of like, why am I feeling this way? To actually kind of flex some of those muscles and actually put it into practice. How can I stand here with someone I maybe don't agree with,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I
They're
think that's
gonna
cool.
be here every, Monday night at 6. How am I gonna get
Yeah.
through that?
Right. Yeah, when someone's telling you how to play pickleball, even though you know how to play pickleball, how do you manage that? Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
So I guess just like let's say people are hearing this and they're like, wow, I would love to, I don't know, get involved with therapy. What would be like some
Mm.
tangible next steps for them to take?
Yeah, love it. So, first thing, like I said, ask your friends. Don't choose a therapist off of a list. Not all therapists are created equal, unfortunately.
Right. Yes.
Find someone you know and trust has a good therapist and they have benefited from seeing that person. Amazing. Reach out to that person, give it a try. I always say when you come into therapy, you're going to feel nervous your first time. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but by the end of the session, you should leave and have this idea like, okay, I feel a little bit more comfortable, and I also feel like this person gets it. Like, you should walk out the door and be like, "They understood what I'm kinda going through right now," or, "They helped me in some way get, like, a deeper insight into why I am the way I am." If you leave feeling like, "What was that? That was weird," don't give up on therapy.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
wasn't the person that was right for you. You will absolutely know, and you can trust your gut feeling when you're in front of the right person and when it's right. And I know it can be frustrating to have to kind of like go to these different, initial sessions. But when you find the right therapist for you, it is like, oh, yes, this is it.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a good reminder that you're not stuck, right? You're not like stuck with the person you
Yes.
choose the first person, right?
Yeah.
But also, yeah, that you should be open, to just trying out a few and seeing what works,
Yeah.
but
Another thing I was gonna say too, a lot of people don't know that if you use insurance to pay for your therapy sessions, the therapist has to diagnose you with something and submit that to the insurance company. If you pay out of pocket, that does not happen. A lot of people don't recognize that or realize that. Sometimes some therapists won't tell clients that, but if your privacy is really important to you, or if you work in a setting where like rank is maybe determined by your mental health, that could be really not great for you. So I
okay,
just like to
yeah,
make sure, people are sometimes like, okay, I need them to accept my insurance, but is that what's best for you? A lot of people don't know that.
okay, yeah, that's actually helpful because yeah, I don't think many people would understand that or know that. So
Yeah.
okay, well, yeah, I think I guess more specifically, if people want to actually contact you,
Oh yeah.
get involved with you, let's do a little pitch here for your stuff as well.
I love it. I'm like, I'm not for everyone,
Yeah.
just
You just
come
got done.
to me.
Yeah. Maybe they connect with you right now. So this is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So it's just Natalie Blue Therapy. So that's my Instagram handle, nataliebluetherapy.com. You can book your session just directly on my website. And then if you want to shop, Therapy is Cool Club merch, it's just therapyiscoolclub.com.
So
Yeah, you can even reach out to me on Instagram, book your session. If you have questions, you can absolutely get a hold of me on any of those websites you'll see.
that's great. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're playing with your spouse and the end of the game gets rough, which it does,
Uh-huh.
and you're leaving the court, you might just kind of get on your phone really quick and book a session up because, we see a lot of that. So
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. You focus on marriage and family, right? So you
Yeah.
take that as you will, everyone, but
Yeah.
this might be the good opportunity. So yeah, thanks. It's been great chatting with you and just awesome to have you on and get to meet you. Is there any last final thoughts you want to leave people with?
No, I think even if I will say if you're nervous to try pickleball too, maybe you're watching this,
Yes.
you haven't tried it yet. Give it a go. Grab a friend, buy whatever cheap paddles you wanna buy, doesn't
Right.
matter. Just head to the court, and I know that people at the court will be welcoming, help you understand where to put your paddle, like how to, play the game. People are more than happy to help you in the moment. So just get out there. If you feel
Yeah.
hesitant, get curious. Why do I feel so nervous? Play.
Yeah. You can do a dual thing there, That's great. Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. Just it's intimidating because sometimes open play looks like everyone is way too good to jump in. But I think if you tell someone, "Hey, I'm learning how to play," they're like, "Great, more players." Like I think people are excited for new players to keep coming into the sport. So don't let the look of it deter you from jumping in and getting in there. And I think someone would be happy to help you. So yeah, no, it's great chatting with you, Natalie, and I'm sure we'll stay in touch.